Hello guys, today we'll be reviewing The Suicide Squad. Not to be confused with the 2017... Was it 2017? No, I think it was 2016. The 2016 boom Suicide Squad. Just Suicide Squad came out 2016. This is the sequel to the much despised Suicide Squad. Is this movie any good, or is this movie worth watching, seeing, and is this movie actually a good movie? We'll be analyzing this as a whole. So, we'll be going over, we'll be comparing this movie to the original Suicide Squad. Number one, the characters. In this movie, the characters in this movie are much more better. All of the characters. A lot of people say, but Harley Quinn was the best part of the original Suicide Squad. But again, we're comparing her because he's the only character constant between both of these movies. She's a much better character in this movie than the other Suicide Squad movie that came out a long time ago, 2015. And the new characters are all pretty good. You have King Shark, who, tries to eat one of the rat girl. I don't know her name, but yeah. And basically, they tell Dixie that, yeah, you shouldn't read that they are our friends and you shouldn't be eating everybody that is your friend. Then, of course, we have the other guys, including Peacemaker and John Cena. I'm just gonna call him John Cena because it's just funny. Yeah. But yeah, they both have begun, and at the very end part of the movie, they become like opposing sides. But already, they have to basically stop Project Starfish, which is basically this thing that could end the world, literally end the world. It's basically a gigantic Godzilla-like monster, stuff, stuff, essentially. If Godzilla showed up, he would basically solo him and kill him instantly. You know, but most of the other characters from the first movie are unsurprisingly not in the movie. Most of the characters were not very that great. And this movie seems to sweep the older movie under the rug like it doesn't exist. Because nobody liked that movie anyways. There were some people who did, but most of the people who didn't like the movie. The original Suicide Squad was often ranked as one of the worst DC movies. And this movie, let's talk about the humor. The humor is definitely much better in this Suicide Squad than, of course, in the original Suicide Squad. The character depictions are much better. For example, a lot of characters are much better. For example, we can just compare the characters to Jared Leto's Joker, and basically all the other characters as well. And also at the beginning of the movie, they basically kill off a lot of the other characters as well, basically, except for Harley Quinn, and they basically, you know, make a hostage in the movie. And basically everybody else dies because of basically Yamsters and Widowmax. The other squad, which is basically the main cast, they're on the other side as well. You also get sort of backstory about some of these characters before you get to know before you get to see the actual one, at least the main characters. You actually get to see the backstories and why they got in there, and basically, you know, the one guy, the daughter. I think the one guy is also in the other movie as well. The black guy, he's also in the other movie, but I haven't really seen the other Suicide Squad movie in a while. I think he is in the other movie, but he's aged. But I haven't watched that other Suicide Squad movie since it came out. So yeah, this movie overall is a much better movie. It's a much more complete movie. The comedy is good. And let's not forget, this movie is weird, but it's a good kind of weird. Usually movies are weird, they're not that good. But again, this is James Gunn. He makes movies that are just weird, okay, but memorable. For example, he made both of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Both of those movies are some of the best in the MCU. And James Gunn, again, like I said, this movie would be better than the original because James Gunn is making it. Because James Gunn knows how to make these types of movies. Bringing a band of weirdos, a band of people and characters that don't go together, and making them go together. They did that in Guardians of the Galaxy, and they did it again in Suicide Squad. It makes them for some pretty good character interactions and some pretty funny humor. the main villains is basically this country that is essentially, you know, working with America to create this Project Starfish to, stop the, basically end the world or something like that. Overall, if this movie is much better than the original movie. It's much more funny and it has much more better action scenes than the original, and the villains as well are much far more memorable than the generic zombies from the first movie. Yeah, they do have zombies controlled by the Starfish, but it isn't as at least they explain it in the movie on like, oh yeah, she has magical powers, therefore she can turn you into a zombie. So overall, and yeah, they gave a lot, and again, they fleshed out these characters in this movie a lot more through the character interactions and through the original and through the before they went on before they all joined the Suicide Squad, basically. So they basically did this movie justice, this movie series justice. And I'm kind of sad this movie didn't really do too well at the box office, as this was a pretty good movie, pretty well put together. And the fact that this only made $160 million, meanwhile garbage like The Last Jedi makes $1.3 billion, really makes you feel, yeah, the box office is kind of rigged towards Disney. So that's basically about the Suicide Squad. And yeah, that's basically about this whole entire video. Goodbye.